Have you ever noticed how sometimes the quietest people hide the loudest strength? How the ones who never raise their voices, never fight back, never make a scene, are the ones carrying storms inside them? This story is about one such girl. A girl whose silence was mistaken for weakness, whose gentle nature was mocked, and whose shy smile was constantly torn down. But when the line was crossed, when the bullies grabbed her hair in the cruelest way imaginable, what she did next left everyone frozen in shock. Her name was Alina. A soft-spoken, book-loving girl with big brown eyes and a habit of keeping her hair neatly tied in a bun every single day. She wasn't the kind of student who liked attention. In fact, attention terrified her. She preferred the corner of the classroom near the window, where sunlight touched her desk, and where she could disappear into her notebooks, sketching or writing quietly while the world moved around her. But in every school, there are always those who prey on the gentle. Those who see kindness as fragility, shyness as weakness. And in Alina's school, that role was cruelly filled by a group of girls who loved nothing more than to make her life difficult. It started with whispers. She never talks. She's so weird. Maybe she doesn't even know how to speak. But soon, the whispers became louder. They would laugh at her when she dropped a pencil. They would nudge each other when she walked past. They would mimic her soft voice in cruel, exaggerated tones. And Alina? She would simply lower her gaze, clutch her books tighter, and keep walking. She never told the teachers. She never complained. She never wanted to be a burden to anyone. But each laugh, each mocking comment, chipped away at her silently. Her only safe place was the library. Between the tall shelves, she felt invisible but safe, surrounded by stories that reminded her she wasn't alone. Stories of heroines who fought back, who found their strength. But in real life, Alina didn't feel like a heroine. She felt like a shadow. One day, things went too far. It was after gym class, when students were heading to the lockers. Alina was tying her hair back into her usual bun, her fingers carefully twisting each strand the way she always did. Suddenly, she felt it. A sharp yank. One of the bullies had grabbed her bun and pulled it so hard that her head jerked backward. The group of girls burst into laughter as she winced in pain. "What's in here, huh? Hiding secrets in this bun? Or maybe a whole bird's nest," one of them sneered, pulling harder. Alina stumbled, her scalp burning. The laughter echoed around the room. Some students watched, unsure what to do. Some shook their heads but said nothing. No one stepped forward. And Alina's heart pounded. Her breath quickened. Something inside her snapped. She had been quiet long enough. Endured enough. Carried enough pain in silence. And in that split second, she remembered something her father had taught her long ago in the backyard when she was just a little girl. Self-defense. He had taught her not because he expected her to fight, but because he wanted her to feel safe. Strength, he used to say, isn't about hurting others. It's about knowing you can protect yourself if someone tries to hurt you. Those words burned in her chest now. And before the bully could tug again, Alina twisted her body, grabbed the bully's wrist, and in one swift motion she had learned years ago, she flipped her over her shoulder. The laughter stopped. The sound of the bully hitting the floor echoed like thunder in that stunned silence. Everyone froze. The other girls who had been smirking a moment ago now stood wide-eyed, their jaws open. Alina herself stood in shock, her chest heaving, her hands trembling. She hadn't meant to. It had just happened. But she realized something powerful in that moment: she wasn't weak. She never was. The bully scrambled up, her face red with humiliation. But instead of attacking again, she backed away. None of them laughed now. None of them mocked. The room was filled with stunned whispers. "Did you see that? She flipped her. How did she even?" And Alina, for the first time, didn't shrink. She didn't apologize. She didn't lower her gaze. She simply walked out, her bun slightly messy from the tug, but her head held higher than ever before. But of course, life didn't magically become easy after that. The bullies were embarrassed, and embarrassment often turns into anger. Rumors spread fast. They whispered about her in the hallways. Some students avoided her out of fear, others out of misunderstanding. Teachers asked questions. And Alina struggled. Because even though she had stood up for herself, she still hated the attention. She still wanted to disappear. And yet, something had changed deep inside her. A small fire that had been lit and could not be extinguished. Her challenges weren't just external. Inside, she battled guilt. Had she gone too far? Had she become the very thing she despised, someone who uses strength to hurt others? She replayed the scene over and over in her mind, trying to make sense of it. At night, she stared at the ceiling, her chest heavy with confusion. But then she remembered her father's words again. Protecting yourself is never wrong. Finding your strength is never something to be ashamed of. Slowly, she began to change. Not all at once, not overnight. But step by step. She started looking people in the eyes when they spoke to her. She raised her hand once in class to answer a question, and though her voice shook, she didn't back down. She smiled more, not the shy, apologetic smile she used to, but a real one. And to her surprise, people noticed. Students who had never spoken to her before started approaching her. Some whispered, "That was so cool, what you did." Others asked if she could teach them. And for the first time, Alina felt seen, not as the shy girl, not as the easy target, but as someone strong. The bullies never tried to touch her again. Their power was gone, shattered in that single moment when she refused to be their victim. And though they still whispered, it no longer mattered. Alina had discovered something unshakable: her worth was not defined by their cruelty. Her silence was not weakness. Her gentleness was not fragility. And her strength was not something she needed to hide anymore. Years later, when Alina looked back on that day, she didn't remember the pain of her hair being yanked or the laughter that had once haunted her. She remembered the silence that fell when she stood up for herself. She remembered the moment she realized she was more powerful than she had ever believed. And she carried that strength with her into every challenge that life threw her way. This story is not just about Alina. It's about anyone who has ever been underestimated, anyone who has been mocked for being quiet, anyone who has been pushed to the corner. Sometimes, strength doesn't roar. Sometimes, it whispers until the moment it finally needs to be heard. And when it speaks, it changes everything. So if you're watching this right now, remember, never mistake silence for weakness. Never mistake kindness for fragility. And never let bullies define who you are. You are stronger than you think. And when the time comes, you too will find that fire inside you. If you believe in standing up for yourself and for others, let me know in the comments what you would have done in Alina's place. Your words might inspire someone else who's struggling right now. And if you want more powerful, inspiring stories like this, make sure to subscribe to Be Kind Always, where we believe in turning pain into power and silence into strength. Because no matter what happens, we should all remember one thing: be kind, always.